All right, here we are, Ames, Iowa. I just drove a little over 1,000 miles to deliver Bob's New York Central Hudson. It came in, and we were just going to do some minor things to it, and we saw it needed a boiler, so we ended up building a brand new boiler for him with combustion chamber, copper tubes. Then we ended up doing all new jacketing and basically putting all the whole thing back together. We added what all did we have? We made a new ash pan for it. We nickel plated the rods. We put new bushings in the rods. We did build up the front of the tender, a new coal bunker, did the electronics for the lights, added a steam ejector and a vacuum gauge for train brakes for them and tender brakes. New grates. We did a test steam on it a couple nights ago. And okay, we did test steam the other night, and we actually had to have the fire door open because just sitting there was trying to let the fire go out, and the safeties kept lifting. We put the combustion chamber that was in the original boiler. We put back in the new one and left out the arch tubes, and it should steam very, very well. Like I said, we did the paint job, and we had this engine on display at Cabin Fever this past year, running on a treadmill, and that's the other thing we worked on too. We got the timing set for him, and now it runs forward and backwards. So we're going to give it a test here. And yeah, this engine, when it came to us, only had a lever in the cab. It just laid in forward or laid in reverse, so we added the Johnson bar to in the cab also. I think that's it. We put some handles on the blow down so he can blow it down while he's running the engine. And I did say new ash pan, and the outfitted the Commonwealth trucks with vacuum brakes for them.
Tell me what you know about the history of the locomotive.
Well, what we know about the history of this locomotive, it was built by a gentleman in Buffalo. Maybe it could have been a journeyman for the railroad. We tracked it down in New Jersey. This engine was actually built at 7 1/16 gauge, and then it was bumped out to 7 1/4 gauge, and then it came to our shop 2-3 years ago and asked if I could make it 7 1/2 for Bob, and we were able to do it with enough room. Nothing's hitting, it's running, tracking well.
Okay, talk about the detail.
This engine was pretty detailed when Bob bought it. But when we got in, when we had to pull that boiler off, we decided to go ahead and do the detail of the look of the real stay bolts. But they're just faked. We just use pop rivets and a piece of sheet steel. Gives it the look. People look and say, hey, look, it's got the but we used a satin finish on this engine. It's a little dirty right now from the ride out. We're in some rainstorms. It'll clean up really nice. We did our own vinyl in-house. We have our own vinyl cutter now, and like I said, it's an eye catcher once out there running. Sounds real good. We used state-of-the-art plastic that bleeds like it's called Nyla oil. It's green and it bleeds just like the Oilite bronze bushing. Self-lubricating.
Okay, and then what'd you say about the threads on the blowdown?
The safeties, just
safeties.
Always screw them. Don't put any pipe dope or Teflon tape on there because that'll suck into the valve when it blows off. And so and when you clean them, just soak them in CLR, and it should clean everything out.
Okay, what do you recommend for water treatment?
Well, I recommend the Locomotive Gold that I sell now.
Did you bring a case?
I brought two big bottles, one for Dave, and if you want one.
Okay.
But you only use a 1/4 teaspoon per firing.
Oh, really?
That's all you need. Now, this was made for us we went to a chemist in Milwaukee and told him what we were doing, what we were after. The hard part of treating water is water here isn't the same as Milwaukee Club. You know, water's different everywhere. You're supposed to treat the water for what it needs. So I had boilers come in already too that I've seen that LSB has, it's being overused. They put too much in it, and I ran this before I bought this product line. I ran it in my consolidation for 3 years, and it looks as clean inside as the day when I built it. So I said I'll buy that.
So is it like the oxygen scavenger and all that stuff that people talk about?
Just keeps everything floating.
In suspension?
And the main thing is, when you're running, if you're going to run for a weekend, you're going to put water in this boiler and you're not going to take it out until the end of the weekend. You don't blow it down each night.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it filled up, and it'll come back down as it cools, fire up again, and like 1/4 teaspoon in the tank in the morning. That's good enough.
Do you start with a teaspoon in the boiler?
Quarter teaspoon.
In the boiler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Guess you need some of that. I'll go get it. This headlight lights working.
Sure
now.
is. Okay, give us an assessment of day one.
Day one, that's boiler steamed well. We have the safeties are sticking a little bit, probably have a little dirt in them. We got to clean them. Had one little fitting come on soldered under the for the brake stand. Tracked well, steamed well. All in all, pretty good.